Morning everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria, and this is my morning voice. And what was that? Oh. Frita says good morning. I'm really tired. So today I wanted to, this is going to be kind of a different video. I had a couple new products that just kind of came out that I wanted to put on and test for you. And there's a couple reasons why. I will show you what the products are and then this will make sense. The lid to this box will not stay up. And I'm getting irritated. Okay, so the first thing on the agenda, Tarte just came out with the Clay Stick Foundation. I believe it is the first one from Tarte of its kind. This is the packaging. And then it's obviously just like your standard roll-up foundation. And I wanted to try this for a couple of reasons. One, I have super oily skin, as you know, and typically clay foundations or like stick foundations like this, they don't work really well for oily skin. This one on the website, of course, claimed that it was good for all skin types, and I was like, why not give it a try? What could go wrong? So I figured I was going to give this a try. Okay, and the second thing that I picked up was this Tarte Play with Clay, Clay Play. Something about playing with clay palette, and this is what it looks like. And you get 9, I believe it's 9 shadows. Yeah, you get 9 shadows, which is this top row up here, and then down here they give you 3 different contour colors. Now what I liked about this is that, first of all, if you're going to like travel or something like that, you would literally, I mean, you could theoretically, if you didn't want any like pops of color or anything like that for your eyeshadows, and you're just a more neutral person, this would be a great palette for you, because you'd only have to travel with, I can't fold that back, but you'd only have to travel, and then you'd have all your neutral, your crease colors, your eyebrow highlights, all that right here. And then you'd also have this upper row for your contouring slash bronzing. For me, I actually think this will be a pretty good palette for my face. I mean, we'll see. I'm super pasty, and a lot of times palettes like this, they don't hit the mark for me, but we are going to see. The next item I picked up is kind of an homage to the first item I picked up. I decided while I was on the Tarte website to grab some of their oil blotting papers. I figure that way if the foundation just completely kills me, I will have something to use to help take care of that shininess. They're just a tiny little thing. They fold up like this, and then you pull out a paper. Standard blotting papers, I'd say. They look like kind of speckly. Is that weird? I will say, Tarte, your packaging, man, it is cute. Okay, the last thing I picked up while I was on the Tarte website was their magic wand brushes. And these are nothing new to the market at all. Can I just say though, I'm obsessed that they wrap everything in this unicorn tissue paper. Like, I just want to save it all and wrap it in kids' presents. I just think it's just the cutest. I would buy this tissue paper. It's so cute. It looks like you get a couple eyeshadow brushes, a sculpting brush like to contour the flat edge, and then I'm assuming this, ooh, a fluff. Ooh, so fluffy, so pink. Anyways, okay, so we're gonna try these out today as we go along. As many as we can, depending on what look I end up with. I haven't really decided yet. So let's go ahead and get some of this crap off. Oh, for the final item, my personal favorite that I'm really excited to have in my possession. Been sold out twice. Got my hands on it. Don't know how. Yeah, the Natasha Denona Sunset Palette. Now, I'm a huge Natasha Denona lover. I have 2 of her other palettes. And can we just oh my god. Her shadows are like buttery fantasticness. I mean, you literally barely touch, just barely. Like, my finger is barely connecting to the pan, and you just get pigment. Like, it's just, I don't even know if I can show you the amount of pigment that you get. I like how I just picked orange and then I showed you orange up against an orange thing. Blend right in, why don't you? But her shadows, they are just look at that. I barely touched it. That's such a great example, actually. I barely touched. I'm trying to find, there you go. And that's the pigment I got from next to nothing. I just can't. So we're going to test this bad boy out, even though I'm sure it's going to be great, because they usually are. So yeah, without any further gilding the lily, and with no more ado, let's jump into this. A Knight's Tale. Oh, Heath Ledger. Okay, so I've already prepped, primed, and lotioned all that stuff for my skin. I got Frita up where she belongs because she was down here today. Don't know why. But let's go ahead and go in with this stick foundation. Now, I've read up a little bit. This casual stick foundation method, I guess, is just all over the face. So we're just gonna, I will say, first impression, very creamy. I'm hardly applying any pressure. And I know it looks like a lot, which, trust me, I mean, it might be, don't get me wrong. Talk about Amazonian clay princess. but honestly, I barely, like, I didn't even make a dent in the stick. That's how it's very glidey, very happy. And I know most of the time too, when you use these, you are supposed to use a foundation brush. So maybe I'll give one of those a whirl first. Okay, I'm gonna go in with my It Cosmetics. It's like a flat top kabuki. It's their Heavenly Skin Smoothing Complexion Brush, number 704. It's a really good foundation brush. I love it because, the reason I actually chose this one is because you can use this with like a wet powder, a dry powder, a foundation. I mean, like obviously a wet or a stick foundation. You can use this brush with so many things, and it's so stinking smooth. So I figured we would just go in, and just to be fair, my face does not like brushes and foundation together. My face already has so much texture that, like, adding texture with a brush is never a good choice, but I'm gonna try it just because I want to be fair. Okay, so way to prove me wrong, face. This is like one thin layer right here done, and it smoothed right into the skin. It covered a little bit, like right through here. I mean, as you can tell, I have super, like, the worst case scenario skin for a foundation to have to cover, but it did actually a pretty good job. I believe this is supposed to be medium to full coverage. Oh, and by the way, I'm in the shade Fair Neutral. Apparently I'm really new to this makeup thing, but yeah, let's go ahead and keep using this brush, because wow, does that look nice. Like the finish, it literally just looks like a second skin. Like I can't even see foundation. I can't see streaks. I don't feel heavy. Like it feels, that's a cute face. It feels really light on the skin. Okay, we're gonna keep going. Okay, so that right there is like one thin layer of it. I wasn't sure how much to gauge, so of course I'm gonna go back in with a little bit, keep adding her up. And we're just gonna keep going. I think this time around, I definitely know to concentrate like more on the areas that I needed it. Like I said, I was a little nervous about it before just because I didn't know, you know, how far it was gonna spread or anything like that. But I think now I got a pretty good idea of what I'm looking for in this stick foundation. My only concern also that I wanna know is that it does feel kind of oily, like it feels a little slippery. That's a little nerve-wracking. It could just be because I'm not used to stick foundations. We will find out. Let's do this. Okay, I think that that second layer did a lot to help as far as like the coverage goes. I will say, you guys probably can't see it. I'm gonna go in with a beauty blender here to try and like smooth it out a little bit more. I'm a beauty blender, like true high dye beauty blender goer. So I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna smooth this out. One second. Okay, I went ahead, I beat it into my skin a little bit with the beauty blender. Damn beauty blenders, guys. Like, heaven, Jesus, he created these. Fantastic. Anyways, I think that, I think it did a really good job, I want to say. It did get a little patchy right through here, which is like obviously one of my worst areas on my face, but I feel like the damp beauty blender just kind of like hit it down to where it needed to go. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to conceal my face and do a couple other things, and we'll be back to go over some palette fun. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so you can tell I did some brows, I did some concealing and some baking. I have primed and prepped my eyelids, and I'm ready to check out that Natasha Denona palette because yo girl is dying to try it. Oh, I'm dying. Now, a couple things I want to note about these brushes. I kind of pulled them out and I started unwrapping them out of their packaging, and they are very, very light. Like they definitely have like that cheaper-ish feel to them, which makes me a little bit nervous because I'm like, God, I hope the brushes are good if they feel cheap. I don't know. But they're so pretty. I mean, like, I feel like at some point, yes, aesthetic matters, but like, you know, functionality has to be good too. Ow. Just stubbed my toe. So today's look out of this palette, which is really sad, is going to be more of like a chill, demure look because that's just more of what I am on my basic day-to-day work day. So I think to start warming up the crease, I am going to, I'm dying to try this orange right in the dead center, and it is color. Only bad thing about Natasha Denona is this right here. All of her names are on like a separate thing. That's really irritating. It is in the color Horizon 127 CM, whatever that means. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take this long, what I'm assuming is a crease brush, could be way off, but that's what I'm gonna use it for. We're gonna go in, whenever you're using Natasha Denona colors, go light-handed, because her stuff, oh child, is it pigmented. Okay, well, it blends like butter, so that's nice. Yep. You guys see that? Is that ridiculous? It is so beautiful. I'm just gonna do the other side. Okay, got that in the creases. You guys, these are fantastic. I don't know why I thought I needed to like review this palette. It needs no reviewing. It's great. Okay, but we're not going to jump to conclusions yet. Let's go in to the crease. What's another good, fun, layerable crease color? Wow, I just realized orange, and I'm wearing orange, and my shirt has orange. Oh man, okay, we need to change this real quick. That's a good base. What can we put over top of it? I'm really inclined to go with like a yummy looking brown today. I'm gonna go in with the shade Terra, which is right here in the middle. This one right here. We're gonna go in, same brush, and we're just going to blend that into the crease, focusing more on the outer corners. Oh yeah, beautiful. Yeah, it's gorgeous. I love that putting those two together actually made like a burnt orange. That is so pretty. Damn, Denona, why you gotta do me like this? Okay, I just went ahead and I deepened up both sides. I wanted it to be a little bit smoky, a little darker. So now I want to go in with, ooh. Okay, next I'm gonna go in with this beautiful gold shade right here. Sundays is the color. I'm just gonna go in. I always do the middle part with my finger. I just look at her pigment, you guys. Ridiculous. Natasha, oh my god. I'm gonna pop that right on the center of the lid. Now I'm gonna take my handy dandy blending crease brush and just kind of fluff it out a little bit. Make sure all them edges are blended, yo. You guys, come on. Do you see that? Like, is that not just beautiful? I don't say it because like I did it, because I didn't do anything. She did all the work. I'm just gonna do the other eye. Okay, so that's gorgeous. I do want to take this one, the little pointed one that I have yet to use in this Tarte set, and I want to go in with a darker brown, and I think I'm going to go in with, Ingenious, which is just this nice dark matte brown down here. Just on the corners and just a tiny little bit. I technically should be using a pencil brush, but I want to try this guy. He looks so lonely. Anybody else look like a baby bird when they do their eye makeup and they're like, that's what I look like every time. Alright, I'm just going to line out with my Marc Jacobs liner, and I'll be right back. Okay, I got that all lined out. We're going to do a little smoke on the lower lash line as soon as I get this powder off my face. So let's do that. And let's do that using, I think, this big pink brush. This foundation is so interesting to me because it sat down so matte, and I have one of those faces where like my makeup looks better after like I'd say an hour and a half. That's when like my skin makeup settles in, mixes with the oil on my face, and they really start to look cohesive, so that's good. Okay, next we are going to finish real quick. I want to add a little bit of that orange color from the palette under my eyes just to kind of finish the look. Okay, went ahead and added that to the bottom lash line. Definitely necessary because it's gorgeous. Now I've been sitting here contemplating the uses of me for this clay palette. And obviously the shadow portion, I already did my eyes, so I can't really test the shadows, but I feel like the shadows and that are going, the shadows and the, I should just show you. The shadows and this like the contoury part, they're gonna like be the same consistency and everything like that. I'm more than certain. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by bronzing up my skin, like a matte bronze with this middle shade, Desert. I think it's the lightest tone, and I'm the type of person that like I'm so pale I have to go from a light bronzer like Hoola light to Hoola, that kind of, you know, lighter to darker, and I really have to work that pigment into my skin, otherwise you get the chocolate bar look. So I'm gonna take my tried and true, I don't even know what brush this is, it's by Wet n Wild. It's like the weirdest looking brush I've ever seen. It's beat all to hell, but it's great for this part. So I'm just gonna go in with Desert. Guys, this palette, it makes me hungry. It smells so good. I'm gonna go in a little bit of that, and we're gonna start. Whoa. So not as light as I thought it was gonna be. Okay. Blending, blending, blending. Okay, now we're gonna go in with the darker contour color, the color Timber, which is the spelly all the way over here. And we're gonna try and use, operative word being try, this guy. He is the straight one that a lot of times you'll use for like this, you know, and really getting like a nice line right there. You'll use him on the side of your nose. I'm gonna try him. I'm not a big fan of that look, but he feels so soft. The softness gets me every time. I think I actually like this brush. but I don't think I'm using it correctly. Is that weird? Going in with the big fluffy brush. Hopefully we can diffuse just a little bit more of that. But my first impression with this palette is that I actually really like the blendability of it. I feel like I'm not broad. Like my temples, they're not even there. Okay, that's better. Now I think I'm going to go in, like I said, with this big fluffy brush. I want to go ahead and diffuse this. But my first thoughts on this little palette that I used lightly, mind you, I actually really do like the blendability of it. I feel like it blends out like a dream. I mean, you guys saw how harsh that brown went on, and now it just like it settled right down. And their palette, surprise, actually goes really well with that clay foundation. Like the two of them, they just mix really nicely. I actually, you know what? I also want to use this palette. I'm gonna go in with the shade Solstice, which is this guy, because I need to put a little bit on my brow bone before I highlight that sucker. Okay, I really like their shadows. I mean, I obviously only use the one in here, but they're just like every other Tarte shadow. I mean, they're good quality. They blend really well, and they actually mix really nicely with the Natasha Denonas. Wow, from this angle, my eyes look 100% orange. You know what's funny is I was like, I don't want any more orange because I'm wearing orange, and then what did I do? I put more orange on my eyes. Some days when the orange calls, you guys, you just gotta answer that. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna blush, I'm gonna finish up. I'll be right back. I'm not going anywhere. I just added blush and realized, where's my nose? I can't find my nose. That's because I forgot to snatch my nose out. Gotta go back in with that flat brush, y'all. Do not forget to snatch out your nose, girl. Do not forget. And then I just kind of I put one line on that side. And one line on that side. And I just kind of blend them out. I know that like contouring your nose and stuff can be like a serious art. And I know that I'm ashamed to that art. But I can't help it. Like the way that I do it, like, look, oh, there's my nose. I just didn't want to go like off camera, have no nose, come back and have you guys be like, girl, what'd you do there? You did something fancy to that nose of yours because I did not see it. But that's all I do to contour my nose. I just like a light contour. I don't like the dark lines. As you can tell, I'm not a big fan of like the sharp contours. So anyways, I am going to, now for real, now I've added blush. I'm going to add highlight. I'm going to add some mascara. I'll be back in a second. For real this time. For real. Okay, guys, this is the finished look. And I don't know, I don't want to do all those Vogue poses. So anyways, this was supposed to be a light lip, by the way, to offset the eyes. And somehow I ended up with Jeffree Star's daddy, him and Manny MUAs. You know, I talk about this all the time. It's like one of my favorite liquid lips. And somehow this ended up in my hand, and now my lips are dark. And it's just going to be that way because it's going to be that way. So this is the finished product. I want to talk a little bit about, put the lipstick away. I'm trying to put it in my purse, which is way over there. I'm going to zoom you guys in so you can take a look kind of at the foundation and how it did. I think it did really good overall, but let's zoom in so you can actually see it and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so over in this area, you'll see a lot of my acne is still kind of showing through, which I think, and then over on here I did a little bit too. And then just look at that Natasha Denona. Oh, she gets her own like feature right there. Oh yes. Okay, let's zoom out. That's creepy. Okay, so over in this area that I was kind of showing you right here, I try not to talk when I'm showing you guys a close-up because then my jaw is moving and the camera's not going to focus and it's a hot mess express. But anyways, I wanted to kind of show you that because the foundation, I don't want to say that it broke up, but it kind of got a little patchy over it, but I do have a lot of bumps there. So there's a lot of texture. So I'm not like super surprised about it. And I still think for what it did, I mean, I think it did a fantastic job. Like I am so impressed with that foundation. I have never had a foundation that went on this. I mean, I feel like I'm not wearing anything on my face. Like that to me is amazing because I usually have to cake on my liquid foundation to get it to even this kind of coverage, which is kind of crazy. So the foundation so far I really like. I'm going to take those blotting papers that I bought throughout the day and I will check in with you at the end of the day and let you know kind of how it wore throughout the day, if it was good for oily skin, if not. Because I mean, as you know, no matter how many, you know, primes and prep sprays and all that I do, my face is still getting oily and there is still oil all up on this biatch. So there's that. As far as the contour palette, I really liked that as well. I loved the colors. I loved how well it blended out. I mean, I feel like it gave such a wisp look to it. Like I just lightly hit my face. I mean, obviously after I blended it out. And I was just so impressed with the ability to blend it out. Like even the darkest one went on, I was still able to cut my cheek and blend it up and it just did it. And normally when I deal with a darker color, those suckers do not blend. I mean, they are just in my face, and I'm just sitting there like, oh child, for like an hour. How am I gonna do this? And by the time I'm done doing this, I've just worn off all the foundation below them. And this, it didn't do that. The foundation stayed intact. Everything stayed intact beneath it. It was a light but very pigmented formula, which I really enjoyed. The shadow, the one shadow that I used out of this palette, super great. I swatched and like kind of felt the rest. They all feel like your normal Tarte consistency. And again, the palette smells like a dreamboat. It smells so great. So overall, I also really like this. And do I even need to like talk about the Natasha Denona palette? Because I feel like it's just fantastic. Like I have this. I also have two of her other palettes. I think they're the 28 palettes. I don't know. Can't remember what they're called. But her palettes, her shadows, their blend, whatever they're made out of, you guys, they are such high quality. It's ridiculous. I have never bought any of her like strip ones or her single shadows or her 4 or 5 pack shadows because I always go for the palettes just because they are great. The price point on this one is like sticker shock. It's like $129, I think. And like I said before, it was sold out twice. I got it before it was sold out, but I think as of today, I'm pretty sure it was back in stock, or yesterday when I checked. So that's good. And I will say, just to address like the obnoxiously high price tag, one of the other beauty people that I watch on here on YouTube made a very good point about that. And they said, if you think about it, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 15 shadows in this pan, and it's $129, which again is not cheap. That works out to be $860. I just did the math. $860 a shadow. And if you think about what you pay for like a ColourPop, like one of their single small round shadows, those are right around $5 a piece, and they're like half the size of this. So really, in my opinion, for the quality and everything you get, you're paying for a decent single pan shadow on each color. And when I say decent, I actually mean fantastic, because I can't say enough good things about her shadow. They blend out like a dream. I mean, like you see, it took, like, you'd never even know looking at this palette that I used it. Like it doesn't make hardly a mark even. It's just so blendable, so creamy, so fantastic. I could just go on and on about this forever. On to the brushes. I think this is the only brush I didn't use, and why I don't know, because it would have been great for the contour, because I was in a hurry because I'm already a little late today. Me? No, never. These were actually kind of the like surprise, I think, for me. I was anticipating, and I don't want this to come off mean, like, no offense to my little tarts, my tartlets. I happen to be a tartlet, okay? No offense be taken. Like play toy. Like they're not gonna be anything that you can really use. They're not gonna be good quality. And I felt them and I was like, okay, they're soft, but that also doesn't mean good quality. And I used all of them, again, except for this one, which probably would have been the most helpful. Dumb. And these were actually really nice. Even like the eyeshadow, the crease brush that I used was fantastic. It blended like really, really well. Granted, I was using Natasha Denona shadows. That could have had something to do with it. But even at that, blended really well. It didn't kick. I loved that this one, it like maintained its structural integrity the entire time. No matter, even if I got like off to the side, I felt like it still stayed together. The bristles were just really good, really soft, and it held pigment really well, which was good. So overall, I actually really like the brushes too. I will be back in a hot minute to check on the foundation. But until then, yeah, I'll just talk to you guys in a hot minute. For you guys, it'll be like a second. For me, it'll be like a lot of like work and stress and ridiculousness, but that's okay. So I'll be right back. Okay, guys, it is the end of the day. Here I am in all of my full face glory, and boy, do I have some good reviewing for you. So, okay, let's zoom in, let you get an up close look at the face region, and we will chat about it. Okay? Okay. All right, a little up close here. In this area, you guys, it looked so good. Like, it held so well throughout the day. And oh, as a side note, it's been about, I want to say about 12 hours since I put it on. And I don't believe that it said 12-hour wear, but can you even see, like, okay, my lipstick looks janky and I'm well aware of it. So just get that out of the way. Okay, let's zoom you back out because that's obnoxious. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave my glasses off because nobody needs all that glare. Okay, Frida, me and Frida have been fighting all day. You guys, I'm a hot mess. I have like mascara all over my face. Oh, whatever. So, okay, I only had to use one blotting paper all day, which I thought was really good. The foundation actually stayed in place, did not oxidize, and I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, what was that? A foundation that did not oxidize on my face? Woo! Mind blown. Didn't even know they made those anymore. Okay, okay. So we didn't oxidize. We only had to go through one blotting paper, and it was in this area, which for me is super insane because my face gets so oily. Like, and it actually didn't separate. Like over here, because that's where like the bulk of my acne and the bulk of my texture on my face is, I have a really hard time getting foundation to actually stay where I need it to be. Like around here, it usually breaks up, and around my nose really bad. And it actually stayed in place really, really well today, you guys. Like, holy crap, well. It broke up a little bit over here, which I anticipated, because like right here in the front is a lot of texture on both sides. This side, you actually couldn't hardly tell at all that there was any all day. And then on this side, it broke up like a little tiny bit. Around my nose, it came off a little. But to be fair, that's my fault. I had to blow my nose like 12 times this morning because, I don't know, allergies in life happen. Whoa. But even for as much as I screwed with my nose this morning, it still stayed in place really, really well. I was also really impressed because again, like I've said a million times, at lunchtime, I usually wipe off my lipstick and then reapply. And when I did that today, normally my foundation around my mouth will come off a little bit, and it didn't. It stayed really well. I mean, minus how janky my lipstick looks currently, I was really impressed with that too. I was overall so impressed with this foundation. So lightweight. It didn't feel like it doesn't even feel like I'm wearing foundation. So for all of those reasons, I'm an oily facer, okay? And my first instinct, my first thoughts, my first opinions of this foundation, this Tarte Clay Stick Foundation in the color Fair Natural, which I think is the lightest because, let's face it, I'm the lightest color of everything. It would be that it's a go. Like, I will be using this. I'm going to keep using it, and you will probably know at the end of this coming month, after I've used it, quite a few times and really gotten a feel for it, if it's a favorite or if it wasn't. But as of right now, I would actually recommend this for the oily girls or boys out there, which is saying something because I don't recommend just any foundation because I've only been able to find like 3 that stay on my face, and I've tried, honestly, between high end and low end and everything in between, I have probably used on the upwards of 30 different or more foundations. Just trying like different ones for me, different ones for you guys. Like, hey, this works, this doesn't. So overall, I'm definitely going to give this foundation my stamp of approval because it was fantastic. Natasha Denona, I was going to say the eye cream. What? Stop. The Natasha Denona palette, boom. Love it. That color, you guys, has stayed so vibrant throughout the day. I mean, I'm so impressed. I'm continuously impressed with the longevity, pigmentation, and blendability of her shadows. I'm always so impressed. I mean, I don't think that was a surprise to anybody, but I just love it. Like, it was fantastic. And even the sculpting palette did a great job. I mean, it hung on throughout the day, throughout the oil, throughout everything. And I actually feel like, if anything, this foundation made it so that this actually had a really nice like bed to sit on and just stay throughout the day. And it didn't, like a lot of times my contour and my blush and all that, it'll fade throughout the day, and I didn't feel like it did at all. That could be the foundation, that could be this palette. I really don't know what it was, but I do know that it was like these 3 items were a fantastic combination that made for just a great day. I mean, I went a little overboard, I think, with the contour on this side a little bit, but okay, whatever. Like, if that's the worst thing I do in my life today, darn. Caught a cops, guys. I'm crazy. Gotta get this up off my neck. This thing is whatever this hair situation is. Oh my Lord. Looking good, girl. Yes. Yes. Okay, guys, that is it for this video. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, so I know that you're watching. And I love, by the way, the comments that are starting to like flicker, roll, and come into my life. They're fantastic. Thank you. And I will leave all of my social media handles in the description box below, so that way you guys know where else to find me and what be popping and what be not popping. And I'll be like, hey, this is what's going on in my life. And then you guys can keep up with me there. I will be honest, I am the most active on, I think, Instagram by far. That's like my favorite. I love it because I love pictures and I love posting like outfits and makeup and all that kind of crap. So I will probably be most active on there. But again, all 3, Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat, will all be in the description bar. So you should probably find me on all three and be like, what's up, Paige? I found you on YouTube. And I'll be like, hey, what's going on, girl? We'll have like a little moment. It'll be cute. Again, comment, like, subscribe, so I know you are here, because that is important, because I like to know who's watching and who's not watching and what's going on in my life and your life and lives. It's so beautiful. But I'm going to go, and you guys have yourselves a lovely night. Okay? Okay. Bye. Ever think about how weird you are? You're just like, what? Tarte, I did not want to like this foundation. I thought for sure I was going to hate it, and then you guys came along and you wrecked my world with a really good foundation that worked for me as an oilier. And I don't even know what to say to you. Like, it just blends. It blends. Tarte, it blends. And it blends over my blemishes. I didn't think the day was ever going to come, Tarte. I didn't think it was going to come. Tarte, you did it to me. Why you gotta do me like that, Tarte? Why you gotta do me like that? Just kidding, I love you. I am such an awkward... Yeah, I can't flirt. Like me flirting with this bottle, be like, hey, you. And he'd be like, girl, what you got? Something in your eye? You got a sty in that eye? And I'd be like, I see you. Yeah. I can't flirt. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just don't know what to tell you.